Alright guys, so the release month for EA Sports PGA Tour has snuck up on us just like that. It's releasing in 24 days. It's releasing in just over 3 weeks. It's incredible how close this game is, and it really doesn't even feel like it, honestly. We haven't had like that long of a hype cycle really, so it's just creeping up on us really quickly. So today we're going to be delving into EA Sports PGA Tour versus PGA Tour 2K23 and the battle for golf supremacy that will be beginning this month. And we're kind of going to go through about 10 different topics really on where 2K is better and where EA is better, and kind of just everything we know about each game so far in comparison to each other. So that's what we're going to do today, and I thought it would be a fun video to kind of delve deep into it and see which one you guys are more excited for, and see which one in general I think is going to be more successful and that I'm more excited to play. Now, obviously, I've played 2 years of 2K23, so it's kind of hard to compare them when we really haven't played any of EA Sports PGA Tour. So let's jump in and check this out. So we're going to start with like 10 different topics. As I said, we're going to start with the pros. So content-wise, we're going to like see which games had a better launch lineup in terms of the pros, the courses, everything like that, and see how far 2K have come since their launch lineup as well. Maybe EA will have similar post-launch plans, or they'll be maybe ramping it up a little bit more than 2K. We'll see what happens. Anyway, we'll start with the pros. So we don't have the full list for EA Sports PGA Tour yet, but it seems as if it's going to be a pretty similar number at launch as PGA Tour 2K23 had. So far, the confirmed golfers are Scotty Scheffler, Cameron Champ, Xander Schauffele, Jordan Spieth, Nelly Korda, Lexi Thompson, Sungjae Im, Tony Finau, Hideki Matsuyama. I do believe this isn't confirmed. I believe Dustin Johnson as well, because we saw that little swing mechanic of him blurred out a little bit, but it looked exactly like Dustin Johnson's swing. So currently that's 10 golfers, and I think 2K had 16 at launch, or 15 or 16 at launch, and I think they have a total of 17 now. So 2K has the likes of Tiger Woods, Tony Finau, Xander Schauffele, Ricky Fowler, Brooke Henderson, Lydia Ko, Colin Morikawa, John Ram, Justin Thomas, Justin Rose, Lexi Thompson, Bubba, Harold Varner III, and Will Zalatoris. So there is a few overlapping golfers, and 2K does have a few celebrity golfers as well, like Michael Jordan, Steph Curry, and Nate Shot, and I believe they're bringing the foreplay guys into the game as well, so they'll have Frankie Borelli and Trent and stuff like that in the game as well. So I don't really see EA doing that. It feels like EA are going for a more real approach with their career mode and the courses and the players. I don't see them bringing in like Michael Jordan or something to be a player in the game. I would find that a little bit out of place in the EA game, whereas I think it fits a little bit more in the 2K game. So let me know what you think on that and what you think of the comparison in the lineups. Now, obviously, EA, I think, will be announcing more golfers added to the roster as we get closer to launch throughout the month of March, unless this is just the list that they have, but I don't believe it is. I think they have more golfers than they're showing off so far. I believe they'll probably have somewhere in the 15 to 20 range of professional golfers, but we'll see what happens. So I can't really give a point to EA or 2K here either way, because I feel like we don't have the full roster for EA yet, so we're kind of in a wait and see approach on that one to see who's going to have a better roster of golfers. But of course, it's interesting to see that Scotty Scheffler's with EA, John Rahm's with 2K, Tiger Woods with 2K, Jordan Spieth with EA. It's going to be interesting to kind of contrast and compare the different golfers that are in each game. Now, let's jump into the courses. So EA has announced that they will have 30 courses at launch, including all 4 majors, which obviously includes Augusta, and having Augusta in a golf game is absolutely massive. Now, so PGA Tour 2K23 has 49 2K official courses, which are not the same as actually official courses, of course. Only, I think 24 of them are real-life official courses. The rest are either fake 2K courses or courses designed by 2K next makers for the game. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, by the way. That sounded like I was kind of saying it bad, like the way I was saying fake courses, because obviously the more courses, the better. But a lot of these were courses that were potentially already in 2K21 and have been ported out over, or courses that have been designed specifically by next makers for the game. They're not official courses. So EA will have the edge in what looks like the amount of official courses and the licensing, of course, because they'll have Augusta, they'll have St. Andrews, and they'll have all of the major courses, which is a huge advantage in terms of marketing, and for the casual audience as well. That's just a huge bonus, and for everyone really, just to be able to play the Masters is incredible. Now, 2K have added in Torrey Pines North and South, Pebble Beach, and Top of the Rock since launch. So they had 20 courses at launch, and they've added those 4 in since. So in terms of official courses, as I said, EA have a big advantage, but overall, not so much. I think that the course designer for PGA Tour 2K23 is such a big deal. Like, EA not having a course designer gives a huge advantage to PGA Tour 2K23 in terms of creativity with courses and in terms of longevity as well, because obviously you'll get sick of playing the same courses over again. So I think EA Sports PGA Tour will have to be on the money with updating and adding new courses constantly. And I think that a lot of them have to be fantasy in nature as well. Bring back the Predator, bring back the Highlands, because you can play all of these different types of courses in 2K where it really doesn't get, like my Fantasy Course of the Week series, for example. Like, obviously that wouldn't be possible in a game like EA Sports PGA Tour because there's only 2 fantasy courses, and neither of them are really like that fantasy either. I think they have the Wetlands, and what was the other one? The Wetlands and Lighthouse Point. Neither of those are really that crazy. They're not like the Predator or the Highlands, or even the game courses that they had in the last Rory game. The fantasy courses that they had in that game were really fun, actually. The Grand Canyon one, or whatever that was called, Canyon Falls, I think it was. Those were like top tier fantasy golf courses, and the fact that they don't have any of those courses at launch is a little bit disappointing, considering the amount of different types of courses you can play in 2K. But they are on the money with the official courses, and that could lead into helping them with career mode and stuff like that. So let's talk about the gameplay next. So overall, I think 2K have the edge with the courses, but with official courses and licensing and how the courses look, definitely EA have the advantage. From what we've seen, like the pictures of EA courses next to 2K courses, it looks night and day, and the EA courses look like they're a lot more authentic and a lot better made, we'll say. So anyway, next up, we're going to talk about the gameplay. So EA has announced that they have 20 different shot types in the game. So a lot of these are short game shots as well, which leads to much better creativity around the greens, and that's something that I really appreciate. They have a partnership with ShotLink now as well, so you'll kind of get a lot more of a real feel around the greens, and even with all of your drives and iron shots, just how the ball rolls out. The ball behavior in general is something that they've been focusing on a lot, it seems like. How your ball hits a tree and what way it should go, what way it should react, and what way the ball should react on a certain course compared to a different course. Like on St. Andrews, it's going to run out a lot more than on a country club. So it'll be really interesting to see how different they play. From the trailer that they showed, it looks like St. Andrews gets a lot more rollout compared to, I don't know what course they were comparing it to, but it was a country club anyway, and makes a big difference. Now, I will say, like, the EA Sports PGA Tour game does look like it has more of a Rory McIlroy PGA Tour feel to the gameplay, but it looks like it does it in a much improved way. And I don't think the gameplay for Rory was really bad when you're playing on the tour difficulty. There was just a little bit of things that needed touching up, and I'm glad that it looks like they've improved that in a big way. Now, the tempo is slightly different with the fasts and slows between 2K and EA as well. Now, I will say I do like the gameplay in PGA Tour 2K23. I feel like it was a big improvement over 2K21, especially with the short game shots. I feel like they really made the short game more challenging in a fun way. But yeah, the tempo is slightly different with the fasts and slows. So basically in 2K, if you hit a fast, it's always going to go left. It'll go left and maybe potentially long as well. Whereas if you hit a slow, it's always going to go out to the right, and it's going to potentially be short as well. Now, with With EA, if you hit a fast or a slow, it's going to be randomized whether it goes right or left. So you always have to be playing for that perfect shot, which I really appreciate as well. So 2K, you can kind of play for a fast here and there or play for a slow here and there because you know how it's going to react off the club face when you hit it fast and when you hit it slow. Whereas in EA, it's going to be more random. So you have to be playing for the perfect tempo. In 2K as well, you'll kind of get the 98% if you leave it a little bit short on the backswing. Whereas in 2K, you'll get like an underswing. Obviously, that's just visually different. It's the same concept. But yeah, overall, I think that the gameplay differences are going to be not too massive, but they play in a different way. Like the concepts are the same, but the games just kind of they feel different. And I will say that I don't think I am leaning one way or the other in terms of which I'm more excited for gameplay wise. Obviously, I've been playing 2K for a lot longer, so I'll be more excited for the new experience. But I don't really know if I'd give an edge to gameplay either way. I'll have to play the EA Sports PGA Tour game for myself and kind of decide on that before we can really have a full opinion. Now, next up, we're going to talk about the modes. So a lot of the modes are going to be the same, of course. We'll have online, ranked, and social at launch for EA. 2K23 did not have ranked at launch, but it has just recently added in ranked, and I've been having a blast with it. I've been having a really fun time with ranked, and I think I will in EA as well. Ranked modes in general just kind of get me juiced up. They get me excited, and they get me competitive, and that's the kind of stuff that I love, is the competitive nature of these golf games. So both games obviously had unranked at launch as well. Now I will say the EA game does have 18-hole options if that's what you want, whereas PGA 2K23 only has 9-hole matches in terms of online, ranked, and social. 2K23, EA will be at an advantage there with a little bit more customization. If you want to do 18-hole matches, you can. I feel like that sometimes that I do want to do 18-hole matches when I'm in the mood for a fully competitive matchup. But 9 holes is really handy for ranked as well, so you can just go in and knock out a bunch of matches in a row. I feel like if 18 holes was ranked all the time, it would just take so long to rank up and get places with your ranking. Now both games obviously have full customization with private matches. You can play with your friends in any which way you want to. I must say I'm hoping for a much improved career mode over PGA Tour 2K23 in the new EA game, because 2K23's career mode was just pretty lackluster, to be honest. Like, I enjoyed it, but there's just not much there. It's the bare bones, just do the event, do the event, do the event, do the event, FedEx Cup, and that's it. There's nothing really more to it. I wish there was a little bit more in the ways of social play there, or something like just, I don't know, something more to the career mode at least. Like, obviously you get a lot more out of the career modes in these FIFA games and stuff like that. Now, we don't know too much about the EA Sports PGA Tour career mode, but we know that you can start in the amateur leagues, you can play majors in the amateur leagues, you can go up to the Corn Ferry Tour and eventually get to the PGA Tour as well. You can play with a playing partner as well on the PGA Tour only. I don't think you can do that on the Corn Ferry Tour or in the amateur leagues. You can play, you'll be paired with a random pro basically, and play alongside them. You can do quick matches, which is basically like you play 4 holes per round of the 4 rounds, or you can obviously do 1 full round, 2 full rounds, 3 full rounds, 4 full rounds if you want to as well. It's completely customizable. I do like the option of the quick play in the career mode of EA Sports PGA Tour. They had that in the Rory game as well, where you can kind of just go and play 4 holes out of that day, and they'll randomize the rest of your round. Now that can be a little bit frustrating, obviously, if the rest of your round is poor when it's randomized, but usually they kind of do it based on how you play throughout the week and stuff like that. So it's not the end of the world, but I think I'm gonna more lean towards playing full rounds in general, but for certain tournaments, maybe having the option there is cool. So EA has online tournaments and 2K23 has societies. I think that's a big edge to 2K23 personally. Obviously, the online tournaments are fun. So basically on the EA game, you go in, you put in your score in the online tournament, and it lasts a few days and it ends. So it works virtually the same way as a society does, but just the amount of customizable options. You can run a society in 2K23 yourself. Like, I run multiple societies in 2K23, and we set the courses up how we want to set them up. There's just so much more options there in 2K23. So I think the societies are a huge thing in 2K23. 2K23, and it's the lifeblood of the game is the societies and the course designer, which is something that EA doesn't have. So big advantage to 2K23 there, but I think EA are kind of not trying to really go head to head with 2K in every facet. They're kind of trying to build their own path, and I can appreciate that as well, that the golf games are going to be different. We don't want them to be the exact same, obviously. And one of the ways that EA is branching out and doing different stuff in the new game is with the challenge system. So the challenges seem to be one of the separating factors between 2K and EA. And I'll kind of read a little excerpt on what the challenges are. So they range anywhere from a 4-hole challenge to recreating a golfer's hot streak from a recent PGA Tour event to single shot challenges where you, for example, are given 5 opportunities to hit a specific shot. Challenges are short yet difficult moments for you to grow your skills and earn rewards. Within challenge mode, there's PGA Coach Skill Center, which is a great way to learn more about game mechanics, shot types, and the game of golf in general. So this is something that's really interesting, and I think something that they will be adding upon throughout the game's life cycle as well. So say Tiger Woods goes on an absolutely monstrous run at the Masters, 4 birdies in a row and then eagles or something like that. You will play that period of holes and try to do the same thing that Tiger did. Or there's actually certain challenges that I believe that are just one shot, where say Jordan Spieth cart path shot or something, where he puts it like the little Texas wedge or something off the cart path. That will be in the game as a specific challenge, which is really interesting and cool. And you can get like a certain amount of stars on these challenges by doing better, I think, is how it works. I forgot to mention as well, 2K does obviously have the Top Golf mode. EA Sports PGA Tour, I'm not sure has anything like that. We know that the Rory McIlroy game had the nighttime challenges, the nightclub challenges, which I actually thought were so much fun. It doesn't seem like anything like that is coming back for EA Sports PGA Tour. At least we haven't heard about it yet, which is a little bit disappointing. I would love if there was something like that, even just the exact same one as Rory, but just kind of brought up in terms of graphical fidelity for next generation consoles. I think would be awesome, because those challenges, they were just a blast to kind of do and try and get 3 stars on it. But it seems like the challenge system has kind of replaced the nightclub challenges. It seems like the challenge system with the pros and stuff like that has replaced that. Now I don't know if there'll be any fantasy style challenges as of yet, but we'll see as we go along and get closer to release. But this game does come out in less than a month now, so we need to start learning more details, and I think that we will throughout the early weeks of March. We'll learn a lot more about the game. Now let's talk about the performance, because this one is interesting. A lot of uproar about EA Sports PGA Tour only being 30 FPS on consoles. Considering this is a next generation only game, it's only on PS5 and Xbox Series X and PC, of course, but the frame rate is unlocked on PC. So the fact that you don't have an option even for 60 FPS on consoles was a bit of a shock. Now, I will say that a golf game isn't really a game that necessarily needs 60 FPS as much as like a Call of Duty or something like that, but I do think that having the option there is mightily important for the consumer. Now, I would even be happy if they had a 1080p 60 FPS option or 1440p 60 FPS option. Would be really nice as well. I really like the 1440p 60 FPS option actually in a lot of games. 2K has 60 FPS. I do believe that EA have said that they are bringing a 60 FPS performance mode in post-launch, so hopefully that won't be too far after launch, because I've seen a lot of people saying they're not going to get the game because of that, and I think I would recommend that you kind of take a wait and see approach on that. The game might be a really smooth 30 FPS. If there's problems with performance, then yeah, sure. But there's a lot of games that are 30 FPS that run really well. Like a Plague Tale Requiem was 30 FPS, and it's one of my favorite games of the generation. Uncharted 4 was 30 FPS, but that of course was on the last generation consoles. It's a lot rarer that games are 30 FPS on the newer generation of consoles. Now I will say there's examples of 30 FPS being good and 30 FPS being bad. Like a Plague Tale that I mentioned is an option where I feel like I didn't really notice it to the extent that I would in say Gotham Knights, because Gotham Knights was 30 FPS and that shit was running in 10 FPS at times. Like it was really poor in terms of performance. So hopefully that EA Sports PGA Tour doesn't have anything like that. But I think with a golf game and with the 4K 30 FPS, they should be able to get this running pretty smoothly and hopefully give us a performance option post launch. Because I do think that 2K23 generally runs pretty smooth. I think their servers is more where 2K has problems. Like they have a lot of issues with the servers, especially now with the rank coming out, where like a lot of people getting disconnected from the servers, and then it's a mess with the rankings. I lost 50 points because my partner got disconnected once. 50 goddamn points. It takes like 4 wins to get 50 points, so that was a little bit of a kick in the teeth. But overall, yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how long it takes them to get the 60 FPS patch out, because it did seem to cause quite a bit of a ruckus, and they seem to have said, yeah, we're going to bring a 60 FPS patch just because of fan feedback. Now, both games have fully customizable difficulties. EA has the fully arcade style of Days Gone By, like the full power drives, tapping X to launch one 400 yards, and also being able to do the spin in midair and stuff like that, where you can spin the ball about 50 yards. That shit was fun, and I'm going to have fun with that option, definitely, from time to time, but that's not going to be my main way of playing, of course. I'm going to play with the Tour Sim difficulty, basically, and I think that's where it's at. I think that Rory kind of was a little bit too easy on that side, and I'm hoping that they've kind of maybe made it a little bit more difficult in terms of how the sim play works in EA Sports PGA Tour, because I think 2K does a great job with its difficulties. Like Master is a really good challenge. Pro isn't piss easy, but it's still a reasonable difficulty for the ranked matchmaking and stuff like that, especially when you can turn the assists off. I do that in the shot setup feedback. You should, in my opinion, have the option to turn that off just anyway if you want to in matchmaking. It shouldn't be defaulted to on. You should have the option to turn it off at least. Now, another place where 2K has the edge is that 2K has just brought in crossplay, and EA Sports PGA Tour is not going to have crossplay at launch. So they have again said that that's something they're looking at putting in post-launch. So a lot of stuff that they're looking to put in post-launch now. 2K23 didn't have a lot of this stuff at launch either. They have been adding a lot of this stuff like 6 months into the game's life cycle. So obviously PGA 2K23 got a big advantage, I think, by releasing the game first. They released the game now, what was it? They released it in October, so that was a good 5 months ago by the time EA Sports PGA Tour game is going to come out. So they've had a lot of time to add stuff in post-launch that EA Sports PGA Tour is going to be a little bit behind on now. So I think that they are going to have to be try at least and be as quick as possible with a lot of this stuff that they're bringing in straight after launch. And that's kind of the next thing that I'm talking about as well, is post-launch content. And it does seem to be a big part of what EA are planning is post-launch content. They've already confirmed that they're bringing in Oak Hill, Los Angeles Country Club, Royal Liverpool, as well as Olympia Fields as a part of the FedEx Cup Series, and Marco Simone for the Ryder Cup as well. So this is huge news that the Ryder Cup is coming post-launch. I'm really interested to see how they're going to implement the Ryder Cup into this game, because that is like, honestly, the pinnacle of golf to me is the Ryder Cup. Like, especially in a video game, I feel like that could just be so much fun. If you can do the Ryder Cup online, if you can do a custom Ryder Cup, like set up your own tournament and do a Ryder Cup yourself. Like, obviously, we've done Ryder Cups on 2K21 in the past, and those have been some of my favorite memories, like setting those things up and competing in them. And I feel like that would be just an absolutely huge body blow to 2K if they could bring the Ryder Cup to EA Sports PGA Tour and have that be a feature of that game going forward permanently. And from 2K, we've kind of already seen that they're doing pretty well in post-launch content. Now, a lot of the stuff they probably should have had it at launch, but they've done well to get it out in a timely manner and get it out before the EA Sports PGA Tour game came out. I'm sure there was quite a rush to get this game, get these modes out before EA, because if they didn't, it would have been in a whole world of trouble. Ranked and crossplay coming out right before EA Sports PGA Tour and revitalizing the game, basically getting a lot of people back on side, is huge. And they've also, I think, released 6, 7 courses, 4 official courses, and then they released Wilderness Peak, Finau Fresh Country Club. I think they just released a new course as well, Mastercard something or other. I'm not exactly sure on the name of that one, but yeah, they've done a great job with releasing some of this stuff in a timely manner. And I will say as well that 2K have a 3-click option, which I know a lot of people are fond of. EA Sports PGA Tour does not have that option, but they have said again that they're bringing it in post-launch. So a lot of stuff, a lot of promises from EA here to bring stuff in post-launch. Now, I think that they have a decent amount of content for launch, but bringing in a lot of stuff to keep the game alive throughout the months after is going to be hugely important as well, especially in terms of online play. Having a good ranked system, having a good online server, and having kind of these tournaments be a factor of the game will be huge for the game's success. And basically 2K23 can survive on the course designer alone with like releasing loads of new courses, and people have their own societies and stuff like that. EA Sports doesn't really have that option. They have to be on top of it non-stop. So it should be really interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed this deep dive into EA Sports PGA Tour versus 2K23. Do I think EA Sports PGA Tour is going to be at the pinnacle of golf games? It's hard to say right now, but I do think that they have a good shot at it just based on the name alone. Like, casual fans will know the old Tiger Woods games. They will know EA Sports PGA Tour golf games, and that's going to be a huge factor in marketing it and selling it. The hype I've seen so far for the EA Sports PGA Tour game is far above what I saw for 2K23 in terms of numbers for trailers. Even on my content, I've noticed the numbers for the EA Sports PGA Tour trailers and breakdowns has been much higher to that of pre-launch of 2K23. Obviously, that's a small sample size, but just in general, I think I've noticed like the tweets for EA, the trailers on YouTube for the EA games, really doing quite good numbers wise. Will that translate over to sales? We'll see. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are excited about the months ahead here on the channel, because I'm planning EA Sports PGA Tour stuff and real life golf stuff as well to go alongside that. So thanks using this new camera, of course. Bang bang, I got the new course log camera. But thank you for watching, guys. My dog is begging me to let him out right now, so I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna let him out, and I'll see you guys next time. It's been my pleasure to serve you all. We'll have a few more videos like this in the lead up to launch, no doubt. See you next time. Peace out.